Although edited for television, tonight's thriller contains scenes of suspense and violence which may be unsuitable for young viewers. Parental discretion is advised.
State-of-the-art Japanese animation.
Welcome to the Otaku Host Club podcast. You're here with Amelia and Geoff and Dad.
Hello.
We're on video now.
Moving on up.
Oh my goodness.
Hello. Yeah. We don't need to wear masks during the recording, do we?
No. No. So guys, it's our 1 year anniversary!
Yay! We've
actually,
made
wait,
it.
I actually downloaded an app for this specific moment. Hold on. Let me pull it up.
Is it the air horn app? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I forgot about the air horn app, but that's a crucial one. I need to
I didn't even know about it. I didn't even know about it until my sister was like, I went to my dad's house on Friday for his birthday. We just like brought him dinner and whatever. We were hanging out. And my sister was just like randomly went with her air horn app. And I was like, what the heck? I need that.
Yeah, one of my ex-bandmates had it on their phone. They would bleed it all the time.
I love it.
Do that while I'm in the bathroom stall, taking a shit. And after you're done, you're just like, you're like, yeah. That
Celebrate.
was the biggest shit I've ever had.
Yeah, Hannah and I do that.
Oh, that's cute.
We've reached the point of relationshipness where we piss and shit in front of each other and commentate on our excrements. How was your shit? Oh yeah, it was good. Yeah, good.
Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, welcome back. It's been a year of COVID and a year of podcast.
Goodness gracious, we did start this.
2 milestones.
Right at COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good decision.
I feel
it was the right thing to do.
I feel like a lot of people had that great decision too. A lot of podcasts came out at this time.
Yeah, we kind of rode the wave of I guess anime people that suddenly had a lot of free time and felt like this was a productive use of it. Yeah. Right in the cusp of it. Mm-hmm. That's our guys Otaku Melancholy kind of went the same route, right?
I think they started in like January though.
Before the trend.
They
were doing it before it was cool.
They were too cool for everyone else.
Damn hipsters.
But yeah, 1 whole year. Did you guys think we would make it?
Yeah.
Good.
I was optimistic.
Yo, I'm at 5 years. Let me know. At 5 years, maybe we'll stop.
Yeah. What else are we gonna do on our Sundays?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I do not have commitment issues. I'm in it for the long haul.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And I need you guys to tell me what to watch every week.
It does give us some sort of
structure.
Routine. Yeah, exactly.
Routine. Yeah.
Before it was just like random anime here and there, and then
randomly talk about it. Oh, did you see that anime? Oh no, I haven't seen that one yet. Oh,
yeah, but now
you should watch it.
Now I watch with purpose.
Yes.
You know. Now when I'm at the gym and people are talking about TV, I go, I'm watching this giant robot anime for my podcast.
There's some sort of bragging rights that go with having a podcast, being able to say it like, oh shit, you got a podcast?
I know. It's funny because like when I go to the mall, I go to stores like Hot Topic and Zoomies and stuff, and they sell a lot of anime streetwear in those stores. And I always want to be like, so do you like podcasts? Because if you do, I have a podcast for you. You like anime? Like,
It's hard not to self-sell yourself in those situations.
yeah. I'm like, oh, do you really like Hunter x Hunter? Well, you should check out this podcast episode that my podcast did.
Yeah, I also, my best friend Chris is an Attack on Titan fan and was talking to me about the new season, and we were kind of bouncing ideas back and forth with each other. And I was like, I do have a podcast that has been going through this new season, episode by episode, discussing this.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh yeah, I forgot you were doing that. Yeah, I'll go listen to it.
Don't forget, we're the shit.
Yeah, I'm used to, yeah, I guess from my history of playing in bands that are really awful, I'm used to the idea that like, anything that you do is not that special, and generally speaking, nobody actually cares that you do it because it's like never particularly good. Or like I play in my crappy noisecore band, which I think is really great, but do I expect any of my friends to listen to this? Do I expect anybody to care about this? Yeah, not really, but I think it's great. Same with our podcast. I have minimal expectations that people in my life listen to this, but I think it's pretty good. Like I listen to our podcast. I think it's quality, It's all right.
Listen to our podcast too. And I crack myself up.
Yeah. It's like, are we doing this ultimately for our own self-gratification?
This podcast is just like a whole horn tooting situation. We're just gonna toot our own horn all the way to the end of anime.
Yeah, for me it's a little bit like that. But it's okay, yeah.
Yeah. I mean the audience listening, if we have a consistent audience, ultimately I would like to have feedback and I would like to have discussions with these people. Mm-hmm. But in hindsight, I feel like we haven't had that much success in that direction, in that area. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
With exception of the Discord that we set up.
Mm-hmm. That's because Dan sends thesis statements in MLA format.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I love them so much.
I might need to be more conversational.
Your passion just shines through in everything that you do.
Well, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, part of it, like, I know this sounds so stupid and it keeps getting brought up on the on our podcast, but this computer sucks. I literally I have to have it in a specific physical placement to have it work. And if I have to run it off the battery power, at the moment it only lasts about 15 minutes before it dies. So it's like impossible for me to do it's impossible for me to live a normal computer life with this crappy ass laptop. But I am planning on buying a new computer in the next 1 to 2 months. It's the time has come.
Ooh, because 1 or 2 months ago you were like, I'm not buying a new computer until I move back to Baltimore, and that's when I want to buy a house, and that's going to be in 4 years. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I don't like to buy new stuff.
You've
part
grown.
Of the crux of this. Yeah. Well, I was telling Hannah, like, I still have I've had the same turntable since I was 14 years old.
Wow.
And I'm 33 now. It's the same crappy turntable from Best Buy that at a certain point it behooves me to buy a new turntable, but I just never do because I'm like, oh, this turntable still works. It still functions. So I don't need a new one. Yeah. Same like this computer is like, I can still use it for 15 minutes at a time. Do I really need a new one? How much time in the computer do I really want to spend?
Oh my gosh. Cut to the 30 minutes we have to wait for you to restart your computer because there's too many hot singles in your area.
Yeah, I am looking forward to having a computer that doesn't have this stupid virus.
I refurb. That's my only suggestion to you. That way it takes away some of the guilt, Dan.
Buy a refurbished computer.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. I was going to buy a brand spanking new Dell.
Oh, hell yeah, do that. That way you don't have to buy a new one in 20 years.
You could, yeah. How long have you had your computer?
I'm going to guess since 2013 or 2013 maybe.
Okay.
I don't know how long are computers supposed to last. I guess I don't really know.
My first Mac lasted like 10 years, but that's just because I know how to fix computers, so I just upgraded it whenever it started breaking. And I feel like I do that with all my Macs, so I can make mine last forever.
Yeah, if you're a PC gamer, then your PC lasts your entire life because you're always upgrading it. You know, if your hard drive dies, you just buy a new hard drive.
Shove it on in.
Yeah.
So you could take that approach, Dan, but that's a whole nother mess.
Yeah, I'm not handy enough or technologically
If you want me to help you build
enough.
a computer, I would love to help you build a computer. That's my favorite thing to do.
Oh yeah? Oh,
Love
no
it.
shit.
Love it.
Well,
it's like an adult puzzle.
My end game is to get a big, powerful desktop that I can load up with recording software.
Hell yeah.
Do recordings at the house that I'm going to buy. This is my new life path. Buy a house, get recording stuff, set up recording stuff in the basement. I'll reseize the means of production here. I already released my own records. I have my own like mail order and distro, so I distribute my own records. There's a huge gap in there. I don't record my own records. I have not yet seized all means of production. So that's the next step.
The McGregor studio. That's going to be your new bands will record there.
Oh my God. Did we forget to... We forgot to rename ourselves.
We did?
Yeah.
I did.
Yep. Fuck.
Because we had to redo the...
I can edit that out. Sorry.
I thought it would stay.
Me too.
That's stupid. All right.
Okay, I can edit that out though. That's fine. Anyway, sorry guys.
Edit out the names down there.
Yes.
In the video.
Yes.
Wow, you are talented. Pretty good.
I know, right? Just one of my many skills.
All right. What do we want to talk about next? What's our show?
Let's talk about our podcast. This is all about us, guys. Let's indulge.
So what are the highlights of this last year? For me, the number one highlight is arguing about that old woman in Tokyo Sinks.
That was mine too. I specifically wrote down water bottle scene. Water bottle argument. I still stand by it, bitch. If you about to give someone in a crisis situation your whole water bottle, you cannot expect it back.
Yeah, I stand by everything I've ever said on this show. So, I have not changed my opinion. This old lady. What was my? I don't remember what my opinion was exactly, but
it is still.
I still agree with it.
Yes, it is still true.
Yeah, this was part of our Tokyo Sinks episode. Oof, that was a good episode.
That was. I feel like I will take back that I liked it. I like the first half.
I don't remember my verdict other than
I was like advocating for it. I was like, this is not that bad, guys. I really liked it. And then like the recency bias goes away, flutters away, and you're like, that was fucking stupid.
I also thought that the first anime theme music episode was a lot of fun. And I still bring up the anecdote of that person leaving us a kind of mediocre review or a negative review that was like, I thought this was going to be about anime theme music, but it's just some guy talking about his kidney stone for 20 minutes. Or maybe, I still tell that anecdote to people, and it always makes me think like, you don't appreciate my art. You don't understand my art.
You don't know the pain of having kidney stones and wanting to tell everyone about it.
Yeah,
that is true. We do go off topic a lot over here.
Yeah, this is one of my unique skill sets is to get every conversation off topic. I do it at work. I do it in my friend groups. Do it on this podcast.
Which is why our early podcast podcast episodes were like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah, the binge worthy episode. I thought it was longer than it was. It's only an hour and a half. I'm sorry, it's part 1. I take
The
that
part
back.
1, yeah, because it was so long we had to break it into parts.
Yeah, that was quite long. I think once we reached that, we start after that. It was like we're going uphill.
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell. It's about 2 hours long. Not too long.
We spent too long on that. That show did not deserve 2 hours of our time.
Yeah, but I will never forget the scene of the naked man doing 30,000 backflips in a row. Like that, just that sequence is permanently etched in my brain.
I hope there's a GIF out there somewhere. What's that? Yeah, I think the collab episodes were some of my favorites. Golden Boy specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I know the Berserk one wasn't technically our episode, but that was a really great one. And I kind of wish that the episodes that we wind up on other podcasts, we should just post them under our podcast too.
He's like, can I get that audio file? We want to, use it for our own personal use.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I thought about asking Matt for that file. I mean, what do they have to lose? They'll just gain a bigger audience, right?
Yeah, what do you guys have to lose? I know you're listening.
Yeah, that was a really fun one.
Oh, yes, especially because Berserk was one of those anime that like I have always wanted to watch, but never like actually sat down to like think about,
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that.
Yeah, and that leads us to what are our mistakes? That time we did the incest episode and my Audacity screwed up. Didn't record half of my audio. So
you know what, Dan?
I'm in permanent shame for that.
Yeah, because we had to watch 2 incest animes and the one we talked about for such a long time, and it was really good. And then your audio file fucks up.
Yeah,
and,
so that's on me. I will never let that happen again.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. It all happens. Mistakes happen, recording, it just happens,
Yeah, if you plan on doing a podcast, have like 2 or 3 versions of a recording.
Yes.
And
make sure you have a backup of your backup.
Yeah.
You have some way to record your backup because audio files go missing, Audacity fucks up sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Other mistakes I've made growing a beard, apparently. Because it was scraggling up on my mic for a long time.
Oh my God, yes.
I didn't really appreciate that until I went back and listened to him a little after the fact, and I was like, oh, goodness gracious.
You were like, I feel so unprofessional. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I didn't really pick up on it until I started editing the episodes, and I'm like, what is that noise? What is it? Like I keep hearing it and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I was like, no, it's gotta be the beard. But then you started like you would grab your earpiece and like move it around.
Yeah, so I'd kind of hold it.
But then you would get really loud, and then it would get really quiet, and then get really loud.
Yeah.
I regret using any sort of writing utensil that is clickable because I have a habit of just literally clicking it the whole episode.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that you do that you don't realize make noise. And when you're doing a podcast, it makes 10 times the amount of noise than it normally would.
Yeah, and this is going to go twofold now that we're doing video. There's like a lot of things we do video-wise that I'm sure will leap out to us.
I talk with my hands so much. Like,
yeah. Is it a used condom in the background there?
Huh? What are you talking about?
Oh, is there?
I don't see it.
Just joking.
Oh.
Those are kinds of things that we're going to be like, fuck, I wish I'd clean that up first.
You guys might actually be able to see our cats when they pop into the recording.
Yeah. Or our roommates are just, getting out of the shower and passing by.
Oh yeah, flushing the toilet,
Mm-hmm.
slamming that seat down. Yeah, so my favorite episodes were definitely collab episodes. I feel like, especially the Otaku Melancholy ones, because I feel like they were the first people to like reach out to us, and they're kind of like, I feel like we've been friends for a while, when you talk to someone and you're just like, yeah, we've definitely been friends before. Like we just like click really well. I want to describe them as the friends that you can bring your parents and show your parents. You can like, oh, that's our friend Matt and Brad, and they're gonna come over, and your parents are like, oh yeah, sure. They're unsuspecting, they're nice boys, and then like you end up watching like almost porn every time they come over.
Yeah, I also greatly enjoy our time with Matt and Brad.
Yeah.
Me as well. Yeah, I to this day I don't understand why Matt likes our podcast so much, but I was very flattered when I found that out.
Yeah.
And
especially because he came into like the early episodes.
Exactly.
And those ones are so cringy. Oh my god.
I was like, who's this person?
I'm not
They're
actually
so cringy.
I'm not actually convinced, granted I haven't listened to our early episodes since we made them, but I'm not convinced they're that cringy. What was so cringy about them?
I feel cringe.
If anything, we've kind of deviated away from some of the framing that we originally started with. And insofar as like, the original intention as we discussed it amongst the three of us was to create the atmosphere of sitting down with your friends and discussing anime in an informal setting. So you're just like conversationally, like talking about stuff without any kind of like hardline authoritativeness or any, like big presentation style preparing. Just chilling, which is part of the lends itself to the kind of getting off track and tangenting that I am so desperately good at. And yeah, I think over time we've veered away from trying to frame it as like clear cut as that, because those early episodes, it's like really like the way we introduced the podcast and everything is very like it's I guess candid that's what we're trying to accomplish, and we've moved away from that I think over time. And yeah, Geoff is always trying to rein me in now. He cut out my 10 or 15 minute ramble about GameStop the other week.
It was 30 minutes. It was 30 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Well, and that's fine.
You also cut out your 30 minutes of intermittent fasting too.
Oh my god!
I trimmed it down.
What is the point?
I didn't cut it out completely.
Podcast.
Which is fine. Dan.
I have all faith in our fearless leader Geoff, and I agree with all of this editing cuts. I'm just saying that I want to talk about intermittent fasting. I want to talk about GameStop. GameStop's still going on. That shit's over $200 a share.
Buy now. Yeah, I feel you, Dan.
To somehow, and then we've hit all of our Dan marks.
Yeah. So when are we doing? I was talking about this with Hannah last night. I was saying, well, Brett, our friend Brad introduced the idea of doing a Legends of the Galactic Hero watch party. But that has not come to materialize yet, and I'm just waiting on the edge of my seat for this to happen, but it doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon.
Yeah, well, Brad doesn't listen, so he hasn't heard any of your pleas. You gotta message him directly.
Yeah, okay, I'll hop in when I get a new computer, I'll hop in the Discord.
That'll be literally the first thing you do.
Your patience, I just I have some of your patience, because like, if my computer was the way yours is, I would have had a new computer immediately. I would be like, no, absolutely not. I cannot handle this.
Yeah, but I do understand, but this is a larger strategic decision in my life to get off the internet and get off, like, have less screen time and more like immediate time, more in the moment. you know, yeah. So I to me, having the broken computer lends itself to that. Like if I literally can't be on the computer for an hour, then that has successfully broken the pattern of me being on the computer, for hours at a time every day.
Yeah, I
And
guess.
I think my life as a whole is significantly better for this. But also at a certain point, it's like 15 minutes at a time kind of prevents me from, like, yes, it has broken the chain of me being a guy that hangs out on the internet all day every day, but also it actually prevents me from accomplishing basic tasks like paying my bills or responding to emails or doing stuff for my small business. So it's starting to do more harm than good at this point.
Yeah, I guess I have a lot of things that I do on the internet, a podcast, would do YouTube. I'm trying to run a brand. I need my iPad for drawing. I need my computer for drawing. So like if I did not have a computer, I would literally die.
You could just say it's an unnecessary evil that we've all sort of been coerced into having or using.
But to be fair, I've had a computer since I was 3 years old. This little hand has been in a mouse since I was 3 years old.
That's a lot. That's a long time.
Yeah, clicking on them kid pics, lemmings, Tetris, early computer games, floppy disk computer games.
Yeah. Pinball on Microsoft Windows.
Yes. My dad spent like $60 a week in ink for our printer because I had to print out every single one of my kid pics drawings.
Hell yeah.
Had to, okay? This is art. This is high art. It needs to go on the fridge.
Why don't you understand my art? I have a picture kind of like that from my old band. It's hanging up on the wall in my little mail order room. Otherwise I'd flash it on the video. But it's like a oh shit, man. Maybe we should take advantage of the video. I'll go get it real quick.
Yeah, take advantage. Then we'll rein you back in.
Cut.
Great. The video already has an edit in it.
Yep. It's going to be.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I figured we'd break at least once.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Not this time. This is not a break.
Yeah.
Well, while Dan is doing that, what's your favorite moments, Geoff?
Yeah, going back to the episodes where we did the trivia.
Those ones make me so nervous.
Yeah, I think
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Somebody. So when we toured Europe the first time around, a Swiss guy drove to France to come see us. And it was a nice guy, and I chatted with him for a bit, and we stayed in touch for a couple years afterwards. And along the way, he sent me a drawing that his young daughter, his kindergarten age daughter, had made for our band. He said they were listening to our record together, and she made this drawing.
Nice.
So I got it framed and hanging up on my wall. It was going to be the kind of basis for the for a cover of one of our records, but we broke up before we got to it. This is art, man.
Yeah.
5-year-old kid listening to raw punk stuff and
hell yeah,
drawing weird demented little sunflowers, and
I feel the energy through the drawing.
It's good, very good.
So trivia episodes.
Yeah, I think I also just really enjoyed putting them together. I enjoyed making the playlists for those just as much as I had playing them and getting everyone's reactions, and the nervousness of knowing that the song, the anime, or you recognize that song, but you just can't figure it out.
Yeah.
What is it? I really wanted to do those almost like weekly or almost monthly. Not so much for the podcast, but just do them for fun.
Yeah. Like a Friday night situation.
Exactly.
Yeah, we should. I mean, we have a whole Discord where we can do watch parties and stuff. So, if you do want to do that, we can set it up. If we build it, they'll come. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you're interested in anime trivia, let us know.
Yeah.
So you're saying that I should build the Legends of the Galactic Heroes weekly watch
I am.
party?
Well, okay, so this goes back to the beginning of our podcast, because we talked about making a podcast for probably like a year before we actually did it. And Dan had mentioned in our first episode that, like, yeah, I'm, a person that would love to do something, but I usually let someone else start doing the thing, or you usually let somebody else like take the reins and like make the commitment first. So, like, yes, if you want to watch Legend of the Galactic Heroes Weekly, you gotta make that happen, B.
Yeah. Okay. Point taken. I'm gonna try to do this at some point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably the only way I would watch Legends of the Galactic Heroes, because community.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about it if I'm gonna watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Then I'll create advertisements for it, Dan.
yeah.
Just put it all over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And then before we know, we'll have hundreds of
And then you
hundreds
can
of
talk.
fans.
Then you can never mention Legend of the Galactic Heroes again. You can talk with all your friends from the watch party.
Yeah, that's part of the deal, Dan.
That's the deal.
You can't talk about it on our podcast.
I'm so kidding. I love your vigor.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I was giving the ramble to Hannah about it last night.
It's cute. You love it so much.
Dude, it's so good.
You love Legends of the Galactic Heroes like I love anime titties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's like the top, what, I don't know, 20, 30 anime on some list.
On lips.
On lips. It's a really good show. And I don't talk about it because I haven't finished it, but from what I watched, I really, even though it was some slow at some points, it's great storytelling. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we were Anna and I were watching clips on YouTube, and it's just we were watching Metermeyer and his friend whose name I'm forgetting, but they were discussing kind of philosophy and tactics and drinking wine, and it was all this like super dramatic music going on, and one guy would say something and there would be like big dramatic string part, and the other guy would be like, well, what do you mean? How could you say that? So yeah, that's what I like. Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah. So
anyway. Yeah, those trivia episodes gave me so much anxiety.
Yeah.
It's like taking a test. I'm such a bad test taker. I like know all the info, but I like cannot perform. I kill myself every time for not knowing that fucking No Game of Life intro.
Yeah, something to be said about performing under pressure. Yeah, I'm the same way with a lot of things, especially just communicating directly to people, if that makes sense. But I think it's also just being confident in one's own ability.
Yeah. Yeah. So not to get too sentimental, but that's kind of like why I love doing podcasting. Like, I don't have that much confidence in myself, but through like meeting everybody and being in the community and like having people listen every week, and like getting to talk to you guys every week is like something that gives me so much confidence. And I think I would be not who I am if I did not podcast. And when we first started doing podcasting, I was like, oh, like no big deal. It's like YouTube, but I get to talk to my friends instead, but like now it's like built into like the core of my personality, and I really appreciate anyone who listens or joins our Discord or, just like gives us feedback. Super appreciative.
Oh yeah. So I feel like that's a good segue into why we started the podcast in the first place.
I really enjoy the community aspect of anime. I really just want to talk to everyone about anime all the time. And it's kind of hard because, like, not everyone wants to talk about it in the same way that like we do. Like, I feel like we watch anime kind of like with a more critical eye, like obviously before we started podcasting, but then like podcasting kind of gave us like a space to do that.
Mhm.
And I lost my sentence. Damn it.
Yeah,
Damn it.
I agree that it's a different feeling than having the kind of surface level conversations that I think are not limited only to anime, but I think when people discuss art in general, a lot of times there's a limit to how much thought and effort and critical engagement people put into art and media, and a lot of conversations kind of devolve into surface level, like, well, have you heard of this? No. Have you heard of that? No. Have you heard of this and that?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's great. But I also strongly prefer to take things kind of the next step forward to better understand what makes something objectively good and what makes something subjectively good. What do we what do other people like about this stuff? And as we critically engage with these things, we understand better kind of the craft and the artisanship of making this art and this media and what makes them objectively good. But we also understand ourselves better and our own preferences and values and what makes these things subjectively good as well.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think also I've been making YouTube videos for like 4 years now. And the reason why I started making YouTube videos was so that I could talk about anime because, I didn't know anyone who wanted to talk about anime in the same way.
Mhm.
And I wanted that feedback. I wanted to know like what everyone else thought of, No Game, No Life when it first came out. Like that was something I was super interested in. And so I tried to make a space to do that. And a lot of times it just feels like you're shouting to a void,
Mhm.
which isn't it. Sometimes it sucks, but like also like I love doing YouTube videos. I love editing videos. Like that's something that's like that I just like enjoy. I've watched my dad edit video ever since I was little. He's done like commercials and stuff like that. So like editing is something that is also at my core, and I really love making those videos. But at the same time, like having the podcast and like getting to talk specifically about one thing or one anime for an hour and a half, 2 hours is like so fulfilling.
Mhm.
Especially like not shouting to a void. Like I'm talking to two people, but also like everyone listening can like chime in and hit us up and stuff like that. And it's just nice.
Yeah, we're talking to Matt, Brad, and Mitch
Yeah.
specifically. Mhm.
Yeah, specifically.
Yeah, before the internet, you had what? Circles, anime circles, cons,
Clubs, yeah.
clubs. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't the only way to really talk about this shit was in person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now that we have to be through the internet, I feel like even the anime community as a whole has shifted a little bit. And I feel like, we're given a bigger like audience as a podcast because people can't go to conventions and they can't
Mhm.
like go to their anime clubs, So I feel like, podcasting has been like the next level of anime fandom. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, well then so how does it differ from YouTube videos then? I like to think about that.
Mm.
You know, they are they more formulaic and less like they can be creative, but it still feels like they're catering to an audience because it's profitable. Podcasts aren't necessarily profitable. YouTube is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I feel like it's honestly the like two different audiences that you're catering to, because I feel like the general age of people that watch YouTube videos are like 12 and 13 to like 21, something like that. They're generally younger, and I feel like you have to cater your content to be a certain way. Like if you're funny, you have to be extremely funny. If you edit a lot, you have to edit like a boss, you know what I mean? And I feel like with podcasting, you kind of have like free reign. Like if people really like the hosts, they really want to like hear your opinions, like they're going to come and like, I don't know. I feel like you can be a little bit more analytical and get a little more into detail when you're talking about certain things on podcasts. Whereas like with YouTube, you're trying to hit a certain amount of time and a certain like comedic thing.
I would like to see, and this is not to cast doubt upon your notion here, Geoff, but I would like to see if podcasting really is less, or if YouTube is categorically more profitable than podcasting. Because on the one hand, I do understand that YouTube generates ad revenue in a way that I don't think podcasting does. But I'm not sure how much of that ad revenue cycles down or filters down to the individual, YouTube content creators, because a lot of these content creator people have Patreons, as far as I can tell. And the Patreon stuff, isn't that the same that big podcast people have too? So I just don't know. I'm willing to believe it though.
Yeah, I'm not even saying that.
I just don't know.
This is a speculation. I don't have any, statistics showing one is more profitable than the other. But I would like to think, since video is just generally more popular, I would just like to think that you would get more views versus than sitting down listening to a 2-hour, 3-hour podcast.
Yeah, this is true.
Where you have to focus on that and that thing. You know what I mean? Where YouTube is like quick. It's like 10-minute videos.
Yeah, even
8-minute videos.
Yeah, people don't want to sit for 3 hours at a video.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
About analyzing why, how the breathing techniques in Demon Slayer,
Yeah, that's true.
They want that quick hidden comedic content.
So what I see is this could just be because I don't spend enough time with podcasts in comparison to YouTube, especially with anime stuff. All the majority of podcasting that I listen to, not that I listen to very much, but most of it is more politics and kind of social issues type podcast.
No, no way. I wouldn't have believed that.
I feel like with YouTube videos, when I think of Mr. Super Eye Patch Wolf and Mr. Giguk and all this stuff, they like put it out there with this level of authority and this level of like status per se, as if like these are people that really know what they're talking about and they're presenting this information to you in a manner that's supposed to convince you of an idea or like sell you on their opinion and viewpoint. And a lot of the anime certainly our anime podcast, but I think also like Otaku Melancholy and others that I've listened to is much more like conversational. And I don't necessarily get the sense that these are supposed to be like informed authority figures, the like critics, like the critics from like Rolling Stone that are commentating on, culture, and we're supposed to believe that they are just so informed that their opinions are correct. I feel like it's much more like a conversation and much more like, the everyman's expression of, their own personal opinions, and you can kind of react to that and agree and disagree and have rapport with that in a different way.
Yeah, which goes to show that I think talk radio and podcast, they share the same, not this, I guess the same roots, and I think that lends itself to going back to what you said before. Like the podcast is meant to be a really casual, laid back conversation, not so structured. You know what I mean? And I think I think it's a struggle to kind of keep both ideas together and sort of do both. But yeah, I mean, like, what are our favorite podcasts?
Oh shit.
Otaku Melancholy.
Yeah, that's mine. You can't have the same one as me, Daniel. Stop it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only one. It's the only one I listen to regularly. So I think you're gonna have to choose another one.
It's funny though. I think we're on the same wavelength with them at times for choosing shows to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's weird. We've been friends in a past life or something.
We never discuss what we're doing next. and
Literally never.
Somehow we always
We're
manage.
always-
Always
I
manage to
know,
pick the same
like,
stuff.
Yeah, who'd have thunk that we were both gonna do Attack on Titan weekly watches? Not I.
When you told me they did a Pat Labor episode, I was ready to scream.
Yeah. I think they did the TV series though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we didn't do exactly the
So
same.
not
That's
exactly
good.
the same.
Yeah.
But other podcasts, Geoff always asks me this. He's like, don't you listen to other podcasts that aren't anime?
Why?
Like, no. Am I
Yeah, why
supposed
would you?
to? What other ones should I listen to? But I always listen to Anime Brothers, Otaku Melancholy, Talking Anime with Mitch and Sky now. Weebology sometimes, Anime Summit sometimes. They have Anime Summit does seasonal stuff. And I'm just a slut for seasonal anime. I just need to find out what everybody's watching at all times. I don't even care who you are, but what are you watching? I need to know. So I listen to that. Plus, like, at work, I'm standing around doing a literal like menial task all day. So like I need something to occupy my brain. So I actually listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, the first podcast I listened to was, oddly enough, it was I can't think of the name of it to this day. It was something like Anime Radio and Anime Info or something like that. And it was 3 dudes talking about just anime. They would review shit. And this was right around the time that Apple had their podcast store. But I don't remember if they were on there or not. And it drives me nuts because I really liked it. This was conceptually like before all these podcasts were coming out. And they had one dude on there who was, I think, Japanese American. Other 2 guys were pretty knowledgeable, and they would just like bounce off each other. It was good. Like, if anyone knows what this podcast was called, let me know. It's driving me nuts.
Yeah, the first podcast I ever listened to was that podcast Serial about the murder / mystery that happened in Baltimore. And the girl I was dating at the time was a big fan of this. So I was listening to it as well.
I used to listen to this podcast, Cult Leader, and it was about cult leaders, but it was a play on words because it was like a soda 2-liter as their icon. They don't put out any newer episodes or anything, but they go over a bunch of like cult leader stuff, and I like cults like scare the shit out of me, and I'm so interested in that kind of stuff. So I used to listen to that podcast a lot.
Yeah, Serial put podcasts on the map. I believe so.
Yeah.
Anyway, like that's before. And when people think of Baltimore, they think of The Wire, but they also think of Serial and Lincoln Park.
Lincoln Park. Like
Yeah. No, the park that's in Baltimore City.
Oh, Lincoln Park.
Lincoln.
Got it. Lincoln. Got it. I'm like, really? Lincoln Park? What?
They ought to be thinking of the aquarium and pit beef sandwiches.
Oh, literally just got pit beef this week.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Good stuff.
Well, you made me jealous with all your meat pics on Discord, so I was like, bitch, I need some meat.
Yeah.
I got barbecue ribs, pork ribs, and they were delicious.
Hell yeah. From
Yes.
Chaps.
Yeah, from Chats.
Oh, fuck yeah. They got good ribs there.
Yeah. Not COVID friendly though.
Yeah, I can believe that.
That was a risk I was willing to take for some delicious ribs.
Yeah. So what? So we know the impetus of why we started this damn thing, but Who pulled the trigger?
You did.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yep.
Yeah. That's why you're our fearless leader.
Mhm.
You're like, okay, guys, we're off for 2 weeks. Let's do this. Let's get it together.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Because
Mhm.
it was, yeah, we were like brainstorming for a year.
Mhm.
Like, oh, wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be
Wouldn't it be
cool?
cool if we did this? Wouldn't it be cool if we did that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I always bring this up, but yeah, I was listening to AWO,
Mhm.
and I just kept thinking, man, if they can do it, we can do it, sort of thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I've only listened to, at that point, that was basically the only podcast I was listening to about anime.
Mhm.
Um,
And it's a great one. I've listened to a
Yeah.
lot of it too. I'm a fan.
it's probably one of the longest running podcasts I can think of with anime that I listen to. And that was great in the sense I could just go back and listen to almost every episode. I started to skip around a bunch, but yeah, I would like choose the shows that I liked or have seen. And I think what set them apart was the fact that they were doing older shows and things that had becoming cult classics.
Mhm.
This was just a whole revitalization of a revival of OVA series because of the internet.
Mhm.
People were uploading this shit all over the internet.
OVAs are the long lost art form of anime.
Yeah, that's not something that really happens anymore, is it?
I know. They're so
No.
older OVAs are like the shit.
I guess
Crying
now
Freeman.
that
Everyone should go watch Crying Freeman. I want to make someone come on here and watch Crying Freeman. Like, Jesus Christ, stop.
have OVAs been replaced by ONAs?
Well, ONAs go straight to streaming or home, whatever, but
Yeah.
they can be 12 episodes. Like a lot of Netflix stuff is ONAs and they're like 10 to 13 episodes.
Yeah.
I feel like OVAs are like 6. You get 6, 7, pushing it.
OVAs are 110 episodes.
Yeah, unless you're Legend of Galactic Heroes, you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, but they were made to push the manga, and they were supposed to be short. It wasn't meant to be a full TV length show. It was like sometimes once a year, you'd get a tape, and you'd watch that and go read the manga. If you wanted to know more.
Well, I guess the Kiss Sis OVA was like a full length. But
Did they make an OVA because nobody wanted to air that garbage on TV?
probably.
Which is another good point. There's a lot of nudity, sex, violence, things that you couldn't air on TV, so you would release them via
All
OVA.
that, all the good shit.
Yeah, that's why Crying Freeman's so good.
Naked men and women doing aerobics.
Aerobatic.
One of those words. Before they were flipping, men going upstairs in 3D, there was Crying Freeman.
Yeah.
Gets you got nothing on Crying Freeman. Sorry.
You better get
20 what? I'll never remember the year that Netflix Ghost in the Shell.
SAC 2045.
Yeah, okay, that's it.
I feel like I'm the only one that actually liked the show, so I remembered what the title was.
They were 24 years ahead of schedule with the naked man doing 30,000 backflips in a row.
Should we get into our backstories then?
Yeah, let's reintroduce ourselves in case anyone is coming into our podcast fresh. Please don't listen to the first episode. Please listen to this one instead. Yeah. Fuck, it's so cringy.
Yeah, I'm gonna replace that episode one day. You guys are not even gonna know it's gonna be this episode.
Yeah, I think 6 months in, Geoff messaged us and was like, hey, so I'm thinking about taking away the first episode. And Dan was like, no way, dude. That's our origin story. We've got to let everybody know how much we've grown up.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he didn't say grown up. That's me. That's my spin on Dan's text message. But
Everybody's got to start somewhere. I ain't ashamed of episode
Yeah.
1.
Remember when we would we would record our intros separately? And
Yeah.
it sounded like we were in a waiting room and we were letting you into the host club.
Yeah,
Remember
that's what I'm
that?
saying. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, we used to do things in this particular way, but this ain't no host club anymore.
I'm so glad that we've removed the Anchor commercial.
Yeah.
So I fucking hate that commercial so much.
Yeah, but we made what, like 7 cents off that shit?
I'm sorry, we made $2.05.
$2
Okay.
$2 whole dollars.
Yo, that's a candy bar for me and Geoff, and you can watch us eat it.
Rude.
Yeah.
I at least get a bite of each.
That's our bonus episode, is us eating chocolate.
Yeah. Subscribe to our Patreon to watch us use our $2 worth of earnings.
AMSR chocolate eating.
Oh yeah, Dan, we you haven't been eating in our recent episodes either.
I know. Well, part of that is because lately we have more pre-camera or like pre-filming stuff going on. Like, for example, I ate my lunch of pita and hummus, but we were talking before turning on the filming and recording and whatnot for a solid like 20 or 30 minutes. So I ate all my lunch in that time. I was because it did weigh on me. Like, I'm gonna do the video debut without eating anything.
Oh my god, they're gonna be like, people are listening are gonna be like, oh my god, he's lying about everything he's eating.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that it panned out like that. But I think part of that is also, I mean, have we changed our time that we record? Because normally we record right at my lunchtime, but maybe we lately are not recording at the exact same time we normally do. Maybe it's a little earlier, a little later, or something.
Yeah, I guess. Well, now that we have like a 2-week buffer between episodes, so that Geoff can edit them, since we're doing the Attack on Titan stuff, I feel like we could record really at any point in time.
Yeah.
So we've been we recorded on Saturday. That was weird.
Oh yeah.
Not weird in a bad way, just weird because normally podcasting is like my Sunday activity.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I think we should go in the order that we did in the first time, right?
Oh, yeah. I think that would be Dan
Daniel.
first.
Did you prepare? Or?
No.
Okay, cool.
What is it? Yeah.
He's like, what am I supposed to be talking about?
My
Your
origin
anime
story?
origin story.
So
How'd you get into it?
I was born by accident. My parents dropped me headfirst down a stairway twice before I was a year old.
Damn, twice.
Twice.
Explains a lot.
Yeah, those are real things. Yeah, these really happened. So my introduction to anime came in at an extremely young age. This is one of the 3 earliest memories of my entire life, was watching Robotech on TV, which I didn't realize that was Robotech until much later in life as an adult, when I watched Macross and kind of put together the moments and snapshots from my early childhood and being like, dude, I totally remember this scene. It's one of the first memories of my life is watching this on TV. So as far back as I can remember, I've been just interested in cartoons and animation, anime, the kinds of stories that these mediums tell. Same way all through elementary school, I would wake up at 6 a.m. every Saturday and just watch cartoons all the way up until wrestling started at noon. Had to wake up at 6 because Techno Man would play at 6, which is like a B grade, also ran Giant Robot Show, which also I did not put together that was Techno Man until I was in college and stumbled across it again later in life. I would run home from school to watch cartoons and anime, and yeah, all through high school, I was renting stuff from Blockbuster and watching it. In college, I got more into anime. Every Saturday night, I'd make sure I was home by midnight to catch Adult Swim's anime block. And then, yeah, I think college is where I really started to, get stuff off torrent, getting all the latest Naruto, all the latest Eureka 7, really diving into this stuff more headfirst. And then I just never stopped. And if I had to accredit one particular show to really bring me from a fan in general to the full dive head over heels, like this is my thing, it would be Eureka 7 on Adult Swim, because that show really, really captured me when it started airing. And it was everything, it had the love story, it had the giant robots, it was kind of action packed, and I was hooked as soon as that came onto Adult Swim at that time. And that was what got me like, oh, I really want to know what happens next. That was what got me turned on to torrenting things and trying to, get the latest episodes and get ahead of the curve and checking out more than just like the biggest names like Neon Genesis Evangelion and Cowboy Bebop. I wanted to know like the more obscure and more interesting stuff as well. And now I generally am watching like 4 or 5 episodes of anime every day, and just continues to be a lifelong passion to really critically engage with this stuff and understand it. I feel like I get a lot out of it, and we'll talk more about that when we go through our favorite shows and kind of what our respective tastes are. But it continues to be a art form that really captures me. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think our origin stories share similar paths, Dan. In especially with Toonami, and watching anime on TV.
Yeah, it's impossible to overstate the impact of having that Saturday night anime block at that time. And I think that goes beyond just me. Like if we think about the rise of anime into the relatively mainstream and universally beloved art form that it is now. And this is something I talk about with my best friend Eric. The idea that when we were younger, there was a sense of like what were the things that like you could always talk to people about, like if you just met some random stranger or you were talking to your neighbor or something, like what is a universal connection that everybody can get into? Like maybe there was like popular music at some point that used to hold true for, like, oh, everybody's into Nirvana, and maybe there's like sports to some degree, but now that really holds true for anime. Like I can have, and it's not like like I talk to my neighbors about anime when I see them around. I'm wearing a Kill la Kill shirt. They're like, "Oh, dude, nice shirt. That show's sick." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a big fan. Yeah, I love Tenjin Toppagun and Lagann too. Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, it's fucking amazing." And I get that. Like, I don't necessarily think my neighbors, who are kind of a gaggle of young Muslim guys, I don't think they're necessarily sitting there like thinking about the deep themes, like what is Kill la Kill really trying to say to me, like, but everybody enjoys this stuff to some degree in a way that was not always true. Like I can talk to my coworkers, to my neighbors, to people at the gym about anime. Everybody has seen something, like whether it's My Hero Academia or Full Metal Alchemist, everybody has at least had some nominal experience with anime at this point. And I think if we keep drawing back, like how did this happen? How did this very niche art form become a relatively mainstream, socially acceptable thing that everyone's into in some way? I think that starts with Toonami and the Saturday night block on Adult Swim.
Yeah, they're responsible for like just the general consciousness, that it exists. Before that, it was still a niche. It still is, but it's not as much as a niche market or a niche trend, if you will. Like MTV, obviously, I think MTV is a kind of a stepping stone towards that sort of. What if one day there was a MTV version of anime. Like they just showed anime openings
Hell
and
yes.
closings.
Yeah, that'd be fucking
Yes.
sick.
I would leave that on all the time.
Yeah, I would have that on in the background.
Because I'm just saying, if I'm not listening to podcasts at work, I'm listening to anime theme songs.
Yeah, I also spend a lot of time listening to anime theme songs.
Damn, we should. Is that our next business idea?
Ooh, we can make our own Roku channel.
Oh yeah, we looked into that one night, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's not so expensive to make your own little Roku channel.
It's not.
No.
Okay. All right. So I'll go next.
Your origin story. Yeah, sorry, I tangented us again.
No worries. I wrote a whole thing.
Do it, baby.
I read a whole thing because I had to
Do
like,
it.
I had to really think hard about
Just
these
swoosh,
steps.
baby.
So I used to spend summers in New York with my aunt, and she's always been a big fan of cartoons. So like I think that sort of is where I wanted to begin. She had cable, which we did not have yet. So she was watching Godzilla movies and Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Hanna-Barbera, we could watch those on normal TV, whatever. But I think that really influenced my appreciation for older anime in general, just cartoons in general. And I even remember watching parts of Akira on cable with no context at all. But yeah, so then I went to my aunt's house, another summer vacation thing in like 98, before Toonami started airing anime, and I saw DBZ for the first time. It was already on like the Frieza arc, which I think the dubs were done by Ocean Group. So they've changed between Ocean Group and Funimation at one point. But yeah, that was so DBZ is a big gateway. And when I went back home about a year later, they released it on Toonami. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but before Toonami had anime, it was just like old action cartoons, like Johnny Quest, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it had a different host. It wasn't Tom, that was We Know It Now. I think it was Moltar from Ghost and that comes to Ghost in the Shell.
Oh my gosh.
Space
Ghost.
Yeah, and so in the summer of 99, it was hot. My clothes off, naked, and watching anime. It's so damn good. So you had the original lineup on Toonami was DBZ, Sailor Moon, Voltron, Robotech, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, the Big O, and Outlaw Star. Those shows were huge for me, and a lot of kids, I'm sure. There was a good actually there was an Otakon panel about Toonami. I can't remember which year it was, but they basically just tracked each year, each decade, and like what they played and how it did on TV. See, that was an entry point. The first anime I ever owned though was a box set from DBZ. My aunt that I had visited in Texas sent me one box set of like the first 3 movies. And I still own that till today, even though the cover's been torn off. It's sitting behind me. But
oh yeah.
Yeah, that was like, all right, you can actually own this shit. Like physical copy, physical media, right? So it wasn't until I started going to this anime store in White Marsh, which is in Baltimore County, called Another Universe. And that's kind of when my taste shift from TV to shows that were, not being aired on television, right? Subs. I have to read. I remember talking about this little anecdote about watching Pat Labor from Blockbuster, being like confused and angry about it. Not that I don't like to read, but it was a little learning curve for the first few months of watching subs, basically. So yeah, this store catered to a audience that liked anime and like magic, cards, and sci-fi, stuff like that. I bought my first Gunpla, which was from Zeta Gundam. And I got my
You
first.
still have it?
No,
Hmm.
I don't. The bad. I'll get into this a little later, but I basically got rid of a lot of the things I bought when I was much younger. Either lost it or broke it, or who knows. Yeah, but then there's Blockbuster, of course. Like I rented Akira, probably like 99, 2000. And that really changed my entire perspective of what the medium was capable of. And that in that, like, it's not just meant for kids. You know, even Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon, they have some adult content, but they're mainly aiming towards like early adult, young adult rather. And yeah, I watched that like 2 or 3 times and was like, oh, there's nudity in it. And there's violence and blood. Oh my God. My parents let me watch this at
Do
like
they have
11?
ratings on that? Do they have ratings on stuff like that?
On the boxes in adult and Blockbuster, it would say like not for kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my parents definitely had no oversight whatsoever over any media I consumed at any point. They did not care. The only thing that they cared about, which is so fucking random, and my mom maintains that I'm just making this up, but it's not. I'm not. I remember I wanted to watch X-Files on TV one night, and my mom wouldn't let me watch it.
Really?
The only time they have ever told me that I couldn't watch something or like listen to something or whatever. And I'm like watching all these like crazy, I'm like watching Tetsuo the Iron Man and Ichi the Killer and like Zombie and like all this grotesque shit and Cannibal Holocaust. And it's like, oh yeah, we'll rent this, whatever. We don't care. And then I want to watch X-Files on TV and my mom's like, that's a little adult for you.
Yo, my parents would watch X-Files and I would sit in the other room with my hands on my ears because I was so scared.
Isn't that ironic though?
Yeah.
How like our parents try to like shield us from one thing, but it's like they completely miss another that's even worse.
Yeah, my parents would let me buy the explicit albums in Borders or Barnes and Noble or whatever. Like they did not care about the explicitity of these lyrics. I'm listening to literally Eminem in like middle school. But like, yeah.
Yeah, so going back to like what is bad, yeah, like what was it, Ren and Stimpy and Beavis and Butthead. Parents would let me watch those shows, but I could rent Akira because it's wholesome, right? Wholesome anime.
It's just the guy on his motorcycle.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And then fucking Tetsuo rips the shirt off of a girl and punches him in the face.
Did your parents ever walk in on you on those parts?
No. And I stand corrected, not Tetsuo. It was another gang leader, the clown gang, yeah. But yeah, like that violence, man, like I hadn't watched anything like that before. And I think Kite, I watched that like relatively after that, or Kite, I don't know however you want to pronounce it.
I like saying Kite.
So March 6th rolls around in that summer of 2000, and guess what it is? You'll know. Gundam Wing.
Okay, I'm visualizing.
First Gundam show I've ever was able to watch had Gunpla and like model kits, but like didn't understand the physics of how they worked. And then I watched Gundam Wing. I was like, oh, okay, this is more or less how they operate. Until I watched Stardust Memory, or rather War in the Pocket 0080, and that's like a lot more realistic. But we had a whole discussion about this on our Gundam episode about the differences between some of those series. Anyway, so just over a week after the premiere on Cartoon Network, March 6, 2000, Gundam Wing series was the top rated program in all age groups. That kind of blows my mind that an anime was the most watched thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Um,
Gundam Wing too.
yeah, which is not great. Like,
Yeah, it sucks.
objectively, it's not good,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Would you? Yeah, there's some loud things going on over here next door. Yeah, so in 2000 also I went to my first Otakon, first convention. Got my Gundam Wing badge.
Mm.
Very important. I think I still have that badge. And one of the highlights of this con was going to a fan sub panel. And for whatever reason, like they were like giving a demonstration of how fan subbing works, and this like porn just pops up on screen.
Like a real one or a hentai?
No, it was full blown real porn.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I was 11 or 12 at the time.
Was
Or
that a
probably
virus
younger.
situation? Like
I think
Were
I don't know.
you a little bit aroused?
aroused?
I was a little aroused, and for the first time in my entire life, I was aroused.
Shit. At an anime convention. I hope you had your 18 plus badge.
Yeah, there was no 18 plus. It was all just do whatever the fuck you wanted, and like I swear we were probably the youngest kids there, or the youngest people there. Everyone else was probably teenager or college level, college age. But yeah, much different convention scene then, and I couldn't really articulate now because I was so young, but it felt different. And I'm sure. I think cosplaying wasn't as prevalent. It wasn't like like cosplay was sort of an add-on for the experience. But I do remember a lot of Trigun cosplays, a lot of Vash cosplays. So after that, I learned that clubs exist, and there was a whole world that I could dive into, but I couldn't find a club for whatever reason. Apparently like libraries were hosts for clubs.
They got them meeting rooms you sign up for.
Yeah, there's an anime club here in Minneapolis that I went to one or two of their meetings. Yeah, it was miserable in my opinion. It was really like
you hear that, Minneapolis Anime Club?
Yeah, it's just like the worst stereotypes of anime people in my opinion. So it did not feel very comfortable for me.
We have one here, but I've never been.
Oh yeah, Eric and I would go to their parties, but after a certain point, I think Eric tracked this a little bit more than I did. But the parties that we went to were more like they had anime on a TV in a room while people were just kind of like partying like any other party.
And you were serious. You were looking for those analytical discussions.
Yeah, kind of. And I liked going to these parties and hanging out with everybody. It was totally enjoyable. But yeah, it did not scratch any kind of anime itch for me. It was just a nice social outing.
Yeah. So that's
I never actually watched any anime at these parties.
You think it was an excuse for just anime nerds to get together?
Well, the way Eric described this to me is that when it started, it was just a handful of guys actually watching anime. And then as it grew to be more of a catch-all, like, we're all hanging out at so-and-so's house Friday night. Everybody come over. And then it's like, yeah, there's like 20 or 30 people and it's like a party,
I guess that's what cons are, essentially. You have both. You got like the panels that are deep discussion, and then you got like partying going on side by side.
Yeah.
So once I got to high school, I was like, fuck, I need a job so I can buy anime shit. And that's basically why I worked at Chick-fil-A for about 3 or 4 years. Worked one day a week. And gave
One
like
day?
one day a week.
week?
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I guess why did I work one day? Because I guess because of school priority. I really don't know. But that's what, and I was pretty young as well. I think they didn't want to break any laws. Maybe I think I was 14.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I couldn't really do it. I couldn't really run the register, operate a register. I couldn't really cook, even though I did fucking fries for. Man, I hate making those French fries.
How are waffle fries made?
Oh my god.
Do you know how
They were
they're made?
frozen. That's all I know.
Okay.
You got to make a waffle and then you fry it.
Yeah.
I'm
they all
so
came in
curious.
bags.
I'm curious.
A lot of things were frozen when we got them.
Oh,
It's
that
the
ain't
nature
fresh.
of It's the nature of fast food, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Though
it makes it fast.
the lemonade was fresh. I squeezed each lemon.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Oh.
Really?
Yeah. I had a fucking
Interesting.
lemon halves. My hand got tired.
Hmm.
Ow. Yeah, it's a 2002 New Type USA came out. And you found a bunch of these, didn't you, Amelia?
Yeah, I have some.
Yeah.
With the posters and the CDs still intact, and I haven't opened them because I don't want to open them, but they're still in the plastic too.
That's sick. That's pretty good.
Yeah, the little samplers.
And actually, when I went to Japan, they don't have New Type here, but they had New Type there, and I was looking at them. I would go to Tower Records every day, and I would look at it.
Yeah, I think they were like the subscription was $100, and I picked up the first issue at Otakon, and then from there I asked my parents. I was like, for Christmas, this would be a great gift. New Type USA. So then I started an anime club because I couldn't find one to join. I did that from like 10th grade to 12th grade. We'd had like video game tournaments and weekly screenings. And I was the same way, Dan. I was like, we're here to watch anime and you're all going to shut the fuck up. No talking.
You were kind of like that in college too.
Yeah. We're here to watch it. Yes. And then we talk about it afterwards. Yeah, that was fun though. I think like that was not pivotal. It's like it just gave me something to look forward to in high school. I hated high school. So
bitch, we all did. Bitch, high school fucking sucks.
I did well for myself in high school.
Of course you would, Dan. Get out of here. The fucking social butterfly over there.
Yeah, going back to touring, that was the best way to watch the newest anime. I think after a while, like anime was still on VHS and on TV. ADV was the biggest company releasing anime, but you had to like branch out, right? And tour and shit. I remember like having dial-up and trying to download torrents all night.
I'll talk about that, baby.
Yeah, it took like a day or two to get any given episode.
Yes, it did. And the episodes are 175 megabytes. And your internet be struggling.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Geoff, you downloading again? I need to use the phone. Up all the downloading, basically. But yeah, I would like make DVDs. I would like download the torrents and then put them on DVDs to watch for the club or just to watch at home. I like spent hours just reformatting them because a lot of them were on the codec that it was used to encode was not playable on anything else really.
And you had to download a separate player that didn't come standard on your computer. Like VLC was the only one that would play any file.
Yep. Good old VLC.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I cosplayed, and the first cosplay was in 2004. It was Nabishin from Excel Saga. And Ken.
You got pics?
Yeah. I think I got a Nabishin pic.
Oh my god, find it. I want to see it.
And then I was Ken from Yakitate, Japan, rather. Both have afros, so that was an easy one. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think like after 2005, didn't really. I did consider myself a hardcore fan until about like 2008, 2009, and I started getting into like these conspiracy theories and alt-right media. Not only necessarily alt-right, but just like alternative media, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sort of in a place where I didn't want to like the things that I was into weren't important really. Essentially, like I was just like, I need to focus on what's real important. But these three, I obviously like nowadays you got QAnon, that now I can be like, I understand why people get into this shit and it's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot easier to do it nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, maybe we can watch Serial Experiments Lane and dig into this part of your backstory.
Ooh, damn. I would enjoy that.
Yep, same Z's.
Yeah, so I got like rid of like all my shit. I got rid of a lot of the manga I had, tapes, figures. Just didn't. I left a lot of it at my parents. And I remember like going on a date with somebody and going downtown, and Otakon was going on, and I was like, we would like watch the people in their cosplay, and deep down, I was like, I miss going to Otakon.
I want to be them.
But then I was also spiteful too. I was like, those idiots in their little cosplays. I'm better than you. You know, like just sort of this ambivalence and pull and push and feeling, you know. Yeah, then I got into, I guess, you know, also was what got me out of it was like sort of this trend towards light novels, things being based off light novels, and less like robots and sci-fi shit that I really liked. But yeah, didn't start watching anime again until about 2013 ish. Did the Tumblr. I talked about this before. I would make Tumblr GIFs of 80s and 90s OVAs, and that's kind of what got me back into more of the art of why I like anime. Was just because I liked animation, essentially, right? I like anime from the technical standpoint, and I think by doing this podcast, it's led me to criticize and be more analytical about story and plot. So I think that's important. Yeah, and then AOT started airing on Crunchyroll about this time, and like it gave me hope that anime was sort of still a great art form. I think this is true across the board. I've read this, that people who grew up in the Toonami days of anime they dropped out after like 2 or 3 years, and then AOT sort of responded their interests in the medium. You know anyone like that personally, guys?
No, but I'm willing to believe it.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I guess then Amelia, we met up. Amelia, Steve, we went to 2015, 26 Otakon.
Yes, we were going to Otakon in 2014. That was the first one I went to. But then Jeffrey started coming with us, and I have a picture. I feel like I posted that in the Discord at one point, the picture of us at Otakon that year. And my hair is not colored. And I'm wearing a flowered dress.
Dress? Really?
Yeah. It's weird.
Interesting. I do remember taking the bus downtown, and yeah, it was fun. And then we met Dan. I met Dan for the first time. Even though we kind of go back to like sort of the punk scene, I was not as into it heavily as Steve was.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we ever crossed paths.
I don't think we did back in the day, or if we did, it would have been real brief. But yeah, I was just on a different divergent path than everybody for a while, because I was so focused on punk, and anime was much more like just a little thing I was consuming in my private time while I focused exclusively on my record label and playing in bands and the ups and downs of that.
The first time I remember seeing you, Dan, you were playing in one of your punk bands at Barclay. And you like were, I don't know if this might have been just my experience, but you were like the only person that was like down in the actual pit, like screaming. And I'm just like, wow, okay, he's doing it.
Yeah, I was a energetic performer when I was singing in all those bands. I think about that sometimes because my, when I was singing in LF, I tore both my ACLs, broke my nose, chipped all my teeth, broke all my fingers and toes, broke my hand in 3 places. So I really put myself through the ringer. Yeah. And my throat's fucking destroyed. I basically can't sing in bands anymore at this point because my voice just can't take it from kind of the years of not yelling. Yeah, there are like different ways to yell correctly in a band like that, which I was somewhat cognizant of, but I didn't put any thought into what I was doing. I just yelled as loud as I could, and that was the start and end of my thought process about it. But at this point, like especially towards the end of LF, I was really struggling. Like if we would go on tour, my voice would be gone in 2 or 3 days. It was really difficult for me to keep it up for like 2 weeks at a time. And at this point I could yell through a couple of songs and that's basically it, my voice just doesn't have any stamina to it anymore, but that's okay. I tell myself like, because even if gigs aren't happening, there are bands, recordings that I'm singing on, but I tell myself like, no longer will I do such things that break my nose or my AC, destroy my knees or anything. I gotta like find a more modest way to express myself.
We're getting old.
And I forget if we talked about when I went sledding on this podcast. I went sledding just a little bit ago, and I was I went with a bunch of girls from the gym, and I had like a little plastic trash can lid that I was going on, and they were all like, I don't know, like sledding in a more normal manner versus I was like taking a sprinting start and flopping down really hard so my head would clock back, and then I'd curl myself into a ball so I would like get the extra momentum like a bowling ball, and I would just go like super fucking fast, and any bump would send me airborne, and I like would land directly on my tailbone. I like messed up my knee really bad. I like really hurt myself going sledding, gave myself whiplash, and I was just having a ball. I was having so much fun. I was like, dude, it's just like singing in bands. This is I just get a lot out of hurting myself. I guess this is fucking awesome. But I was afterwards. I was talking with them, and one of the people was like, "Well, now that I'm old, I'm 30, and I can't. I got to be more careful about how I use my body." And I was like, man, I'm 33. I'm still sledding like it's real, man. Like, this shit's awesome. They were like, oh, fuck. We all thought you were like in your early 20s or something from the way that you were sledding like that. I was like, no. I still feel the invulnerability of youth.
Oh my gosh. From the way that you were sledding, I feel like you were only 24.
I hope we have that energy when we're like in our 60s and 70s. We're just a bunch of young kids.
For me the killer is my blood pressure. Hannah took my blood pressure on a little digital cuff thing yesterday, and that shit went up. I'm taking my meds now, and it went up. It was 186 over 110.
I'm telling you, it's that test pressure.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you got test anxiety.
Like 186 over 110 is like I'm having a heart attack. It's like I'm perpetually having a heart attack.
Oh my God, damn.
Do you need an intervention or what?
I keep
what
joking.
Are you eating? Stop eating it.
I keep joking. That's the thing. I eat healthy. Like I eat like, salads and fruit.
He says I eat healthy after he just got back from a southern tour of ribs and barbecue.
That's not an everyday. That's not an everyday thing. It's a special occasion. I keep joking.
Giving you shit.
I joke with Hannah that this is a competition, that I'm just trying to see how high I can get it. Next goal is 190 over 110. I can do it, man. Hannah, let's have barbecue for dinner tonight. I can totally reach this goal.
Well, Amelia, it's your turn.
Oh, is it my
Amelia,
turn?
who the fuck is you?
Wow, who am I? Who the fuck I be? I don't even know me. So I feel like for me, I feel like I'm different. I'm cut from a different cloth of anime. Because I did not grow up watching it. Like, I would watch cartoons on Saturday morning and stuff like that, and I would watch, Pokemon and Sailor Moon and whatever else aired before and after school. Like, I would always go to my neighbor's house, and my neighbor would take us to school. There are a bunch of kids in the neighborhood, and I used to go. I remember this very vividly. Very early in the morning, doors open, you just go upstairs, get in your little chair, and then she brings you over. You got your Pokemon going. She's bringing you over some Ovaltine, some chocolate Ovaltine, and then you just sit and you watch your Pokemon until it's time to go to school. And that was the life, But I didn't start really like watching it. I didn't know that was anime. I didn't know that was cartoon. Like, I knew it was cartoons, but like, when at that age, you don't like know, So a little bit later on, after high school, I had a friend group that, we would get together and go to hardcore shows or, whatever kind of show was at like the local like venue. And then we would go back to one of my friend's house and we would watch, TV, we would play video games. And one night we decided to watch anime because the person's house, Steve, that my friend Steve would watch anime all the time, and he was like, oh well, let's just watch Naruto because I'm watching that right now, and that's it's cool, it's like what's coming out right now. And I was like, okay, sure, like I don't care, I'll watch anything, I'm pretty easy. And so we watched it, and I was literally captivated from like the first episode we watched. I don't even remember like what episode it was, but I just remembered like I need to figure out how to get this at home. Like, I need to watch this at home, like not with my friends. Like, I cannot wait until, we all get together to watch it again. So he introduced me to the lovely world of torrenting. And so it began. At the time, I think Shippuden was airing, and I was downloading not like our original Naruto. And I had, 100 some episodes to catch up on. I worked at Applebee's at the time. I did cars had to go, baby, making them tips. And I called out of work 3 days in a row, which like there's only like 3 people that work that station. So like that was kind of like a big deal. And I was like, I'm so sick, I cannot come in. And all I did was watch Naruto, and I caught up on Naruto. So after that, I was like, okay, I need to figure out like where Shippuden's airing. I need to figure out like how to torrent that. And there was a website called like Horrible Subs or something, and they were fan subbing it. So I would torrent it from their website, and I had that shit bookmarked, and every like, I think it was like Thursdays or something, the new episode would pop up, and I would download it immediately. Oh my gosh, I loved Naruto so much. And then like, so once you like start torrenting one thing, there's like tons of forum sites where you can find other anime to torrent, and the search was endless. So at that point, I was like, okay, if I love this so much, that I need to figure out, like, I need to find more of something like this. So I was downloading everything. Like, it did not matter what it was, I wanted to consume it. And I feel like that's like kind of like how my like anime tastes are now. Like, I don't care what it is. Like, I don't subscribe to like any genre. Like, there are obviously like genres that I like more, that I'm gonna like more, but like if there's a good story and really good characters, like I'm gonna watch it no matter what, doesn't matter. So I was downloading, I filled up an entire terabyte hard drive, which for the time, back in like 2006, that is a lot of anime. Like, That was a lot of anime. I had like Ichigo 100%. I had Strawberry Panic. I had Green Green. Like I did not care what it was. I was downloading it and watching it. And then obviously like I went to school, like college, and college took up a lot of my time because you had 2 studio classes a day in art school, and then you had like 4 to 6 hours of homework for each class, which like that math doesn't add up for the daily amount of things to do. So I couldn't even make it to like my weekend job at Michael's, where I worked on Sunday. I only worked on Sunday. I would call out all the time. Like art school is fucking brutal. But after that, I won a trip to Japan off of Facebook. And my dad definitely thought I was going to get human trafficked. He was like, yeah, this is like, you need to call me as soon as you get there. Like, I need to know that you're okay. And what happened is like the big earthquake happened the year before, and Japan was trying to rebuild tourism after that. And so
this is Japan Sinks 2020. You came afterwards.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? It's sinking. Let me go check it out.
10 years almost to the date since that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I did a homestay program, and I stayed with a Japanese family, and they were super cute and super lovely. And the host mom made me a delicious sukiyaki dinner, and it was amazing. And they even bought me the fancy, expensive meat. But so, yeah, they were trying to rebuild tourism, and they were running a promotion. And what you had to do was just upload a picture of yourself and like give an essay of like why you wanted to come to Japan. And I was just talking, I forget what I wrote in the essay, but it was basically like, I love anime and I love Japanese culture and I want to learn about it, blah, blah, blah. And obviously, I think like only like 2,500 people like entered. So the odds were pretty in my favor. But I got picked and I went, and it was like the most amazing thing ever. Cause like at that point in time, and I guess I still am a little bit, but I was really into Japanese fashion. Like that was like the bee's knees. I was always up to date on everything. So after that, I started going to anime conventions. So the first anime convention I went to was Otakon in 2014. And it opened my eyes because like, I guess I hadn't watched as much anime as I thought I was watching. And when I went to this convention, everyone was cosplaying. Like, as you said, Geoff, like cosplaying was just like an add-on at that point, where like cosplaying at conventions at that point in time had turned from just being a casual thing to like people were doing it and like doing group cosplays and like cosplaying an entire series. Like, and there's a really iconic cosplay group that I think about all the time. It was 3 people who would cosplay the evolution of a single Pokemon. I don't know if you guys remember seeing them. They're at every single Otakon. They are amazing. They did Butterfree. I think they did Haunter. But anyway, yeah. So everyone was cosplaying, and I had no idea who these people were. And we were walking around the convention, and I'm like, I don't know anything about anime. I thought I liked it. And so that made me sink back into my torrenting situation, except for now we had streaming services. So I signed up for Crunchyroll, and I started watching anything and everything I could that came out around 2014. I was like, I need to know exactly what animes are coming out right now. And I need to consume them immediately. So that's where a lot of, I feel like my anime tastes come from, because there's a lot of anime that came out around that time, 2014, 2015, that's like, I feel like that was like my rediscovery of anime. So like those shows impacted me a lot, like Naruto did.
Yeah, because we're talking like 3 times the amount of anime coming out in that year, compared to like the early 90s. It's crazy.
Yeah, and even in the early 2000s, there were probably like maybe 10 shows. And by 2014, it's like tripled, you know? Which is why I love No Game, No Life. And that's why I wanted the boys to watch it. I have a Lucky Star tattoo. I have a Orimo tattoo. I just dove headfirst. I literally did nothing except for, watch anime at that point. And I think it was probably when I decided to like do a YouTube channel. I was like, okay, what do anime YouTubers do? They do seasonals. Like seasonal anime is a thing. Like people are like keeping up to date with anime that way. And I was like, I can do it too. So I think 2017, 2018 is when I started really hitting seasonal anime really hard. And I would, I would watch YouTube videos on like what everybody's watching. I had a Twitter so that I could figure out what everybody was talking about, and just diving headfirst into the community. So here we are. I think it took me 7 years to get burnout on anime. And last winter season, there was just so much anime to watch. But yeah. So now I've got a massive figure collection. That was also something I was super interested in. I really love anime figures. That's like the thing that I like to collect a lot of. I also cosplay, obviously, because like I was super influenced by everyone dressing up as their favorite character. I'm like, oh my God, y'all are 3D from the 2D world and I need to join forces. So, I've cosplayed Hachikuji from Monogatari series. I've cosplayed Kambaru from Monogatari series. A lot of Monogatari cosplay, okay, because that's like one of my favorite anime.
Zero two.
02. I also, for Halloween, I did Zombie too. I thought I was clever, but it was just an excuse to dress up as an anime character for Halloween. What else have I cosplayed? Lucky Star. I've also done Sagiri from Eromanga Sensei. But yeah. That's me.
You in a nutshell.
Yes.
Well, the fact that you're going back to what you said, like burned out, I feel like the majority of people who get into anime get burned out after a couple of years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think that's true?
If you think like Dan, you watched it as a kid, but then really got heavy back in college. Like Geoff did the same thing. I kind of did the same thing a little bit later,
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
You get to, I feel like at least at the time that we were watching anime, that we were introduced to anime, there's a point at which like no new things are coming out as frequently. Because like shows, it wasn't like there were 80 shows a season to watch. It wasn't like based off of seasons. It was based off of production costs, like people would put out an anime if they had the money for it or if they needed to promote something. So it wasn't like, there were studios that were pumping out this anime all the time, so
yeah.
There was you could catch up. You could catch up to a series. You could catch up to everything that was current,
Yeah. Well, I was, as we talk about getting burnt out, I was kind of viewing it in the exact opposite way. Insofar as I could see how if you were trying to keep up with current shows, you would get burnt out because of the volume of new productions that are happening relative to the quality of these new productions. You have like 10 shows happening a season, of which 2 are particularly good, and the other ones range from okay to bad. And if you're trying to watch all of them, then you get burnt out. Versus my own,
maybe trying to watch all of them. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter, because if it's bad, then you also want to see it so you can know where the memes come from.
Yeah.
If it's bad, you want to be like, oh my God, that anime was so bad.
Yeah. And I, my own watching style, I don't try to keep up with anything. I kind of just pick and choose at random, what I'm in the mood for, or what I haven't seen already. Like I went through, Year of the Gundam last year. Yeah, at the moment, I'm making my way through the Pat Labor franchise. Since we watched the OVA series, I'm a chunk of the way through the TV series right now. So yeah, arguably this stuff is not particularly relevant anymore, but still, as I seek to understand anime and to yeah, understand my own love of giant robots, then this is something that I really ought to make my way through and understand. So in that sense, I think, there anime is endless. There's always something interesting somewhere they haven't seen yet that you could dig into.
Mm-hmm.
Old
Yeah,
and new.
old and new.
Old and new.
And before Mal, there was Anime Encyclopedia, where you just like
Yeah,
it was literally just a
Open a
publication.
book? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I've only known about Mal.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mal is a lot more convenient. But like,
Oh
yeah,
my
you could.
gosh.
I mean, they weren't necessarily reviewing things in Anime Encyclopedia, but they give like a little small
Synopsis. Yeah.
synopsis, yeah, and then maybe a little of a review or opinion piece, but they're really short. But you could like branch. They would suggest things based on those synopsises. Synopsy.
That's what I wanted. I always wanted. I just watched No Game No Life. Tell me 5 anime like this, please, so I can watch every single one. And I would go down the list, and I'd be like, okay, what torrent sites have this one? What torrent sites have that one? And then there's like torrents that were not what they say they were. And I think I watched a hentai before I knew what hentai was. And I was like, oh, anime is also this? Wow. Okay. I hope nobody finds it. Pretty sure someone found it. Shall we take a break before we start our 3x3s? Because a bitch gotta pee.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for listening and being here. We super appreciate every single one of you that listens to our podcast every week. Join our Discord to continue the conversation and get notified when we upload new episodes. Or if you just want to hang out and chat about anime. The invite link should be in the description of whatever platform you're listening to this on, as well as in our link tree of our Instagram at Otaku Host Club, or on our website www.otakuhostclub.com. And if you like our content, it would be super awesome if you went over to Apple Podcasts and left us a review. It's super helpful for us to get the word out. And if you do, we'll read it on air. And with that, we'll see you in the next episode.